Okay. Hello and welcome to the post-mortem episode of the Gathering Arena Run. Now, we're taking a look at this deck, which is the Legion of Dusk. And as you can see from the gameplay we had, there are a few issues that we need to address. One is that we we somehow are running into a lot of 5 drops. Now, these are nice high ends, but as far as high ends go, they're not the kind that you want to keep running into, and we need a few good ones. We don't need a bunch of good and bunch of mediocre ones, and we need to also solidify the definition of our deck, because we can easily do vampires. We can aim for more vampire tokens, or we can just aim for stacking up on, like, the vernacular for this is called going tall, which is we put all our eggs on one big creature, or going wide, which is we spread out, we have a bunch of small creatures, and we go around the enemy. So let's set up for standard, and I have to remind myself that no, there is no Kaladesh, there's no Aether Revolt. In fact, let's keep it easy. Let's start by sticking to the vampire team. Let's see what we have to work with. So let's take a look at through all our vampires. Adanto Vanguard, 2 to cast, virtually a 3/1, can be tough to remove. Let's leave that there for now, but I am not too keen on that. Anointed Deacon, this is the first of the 5 drops that we are going to drop. Let's see, because it's a 3/3. Sometimes it can be a 5/3. Sometimes it can give something else +2/+0. But we want better top ends, not this one. Baffling End. This is also this is another card we're gonna drop in favor of Seal Away. Bishop of Binding acts as a pseudo removal. It is, and it has a decent pump effect. We can leave that in here for now. We'll think of this as our Angel of Sanctions. Bishop Soldier, 2/2 for 2 lifelink. I'll leave that in there for now, but definitely very on the cut list. Call to the Feast. This is one of our token makers. If we aim for a go wide strategy, we do 4 to cast 3/1/1 vampire creature tokens. Let's increase this to 3 for now. But there's actually an issue here we have to think, because we have 2 token makers. We have Call to the Feast, and we also have Queen's Commission. It's 1 mana cheaper, but makes 1 token less. But the nice thing about this is that this one is just mono white. We can also do is we can skew the deck so that it's less black, more white. We can adjust the mana base that way. We didn't notice it that much, but we did have a few mana issues though I'll admit that one was a bit more my fault, but there were some mana issues. Slanting your deck towards 1 color main and 1 color secondary, it's a lot better than having, let's see, what's our details right now. It's much better than having it at virtual 50-50 in terms of mana sources. In fact, right now, the way we're cutting things, we are having less black than white. So we'll leave it at 3 Call to the Feast for now. Champion of Dusk, we can leave it as a one-off. It does draw us more cards. That is one issue we have. The Deserts and the Shafet Dunes. Honestly, I am not enthused with the idea of having the Deserts and the Shafet Dunes. It was a nice trick. It was a trick that we could have held on to, but there's one other card that I'm looking for to... Actually, let's cut these 2 for now. We can cut the Desert's Hold as well. And we will also cut Yeah, we said we'll cut the Shafet Dunes, but we'll also cut the Forsaken Sanctuaries. What we'll do is, thank you Dominaria for being around. What we're going to do is we're going to search for. We're gonna replace those with isolated chapels. Let's see, our land count is, yeah, I need to refresh that once. I need to refresh that too. So let's make a few more cuts here before we actually no, let's do a count. How many lands do we have? I know I cut 6 lands, so I need to put in 2 more lands. Yes, we're actually just one land. We cut 2 lands, so this deck was originally a 25 land deck. Yep, originally 25 lands. Generally you'd want 24, but let's leave it 25. What we can do also is so first we're gonna add 1 Arch of Araska. As I said, we do need some card draw eventually. But another card that we're going to add is called Radiant Destiny. If we're gonna stick with the Vampire team, this one is a virtual +1/+1 to all our no, it's not even virtual, it's definite +1/+1 to all our creatures. And having Vigilance is just gravy, so even without Ascend it is quite good. So we're gonna put 2 copies of those. In that end, we're going to remove the Squire's Devotion, because same cost. It does give us a creature, but it's horrible. We don't want to put that on our opponent's creatures. So let's take a look again. We want to bump up our Dusk Legion Zealots. We do need additional card draw, and card draw on the body is very good too. Duskborn Sky Marcher, it messes with the combat math, but I would much rather have another Sky Marcher aspirant. So forsake the worldly, yes, we'll cut that. We'll replace it with another cast out. Oh yeah, let's not forget we cut a bunch of we cut a few spells in favor of Seal Away, so let's add that first. So what would we remove? Reaver Ambush, because Seal Away is virtually instant. Pride of Conquerors. It could have won us the game back then. It did give us 2/2/2 for 2 mana. It does come out of the blue. Yeah, let's leave that there. So we will remove the Vanquisher's Banner. That one is much more expensive, especially when we have Radiant Destinies instead. So we can replace that with another Seal Away. Let's drop the Famished Paladin. Let's keep... Okay, Forerunner of the Legion. We want more Legion Lieutenants. Let's add 2 more of those. Let's add the whole playset. Why not? We can drop the Oathsworn Vampire. We can... Yeah, let's reduce... I'm thinking about this. Sanctum Seeker is one of the better rares here. I'd much rather have the Sanctum Seeker. Vicious Conquistador is a virtual 2/2 for 1 mana. But let's drop that one. We can also drop the Sky Marcher. Just gives us flying, lifelink. It's okay. It did some work in the last game, but we're streamlining this deck. We can't afford to have too much around. Yeah, we'll definitely drop the Pride of Conquerors. We will drop the Sadistic Sky Marcher, and we will drop the Champion of Dusk in favor of another Sanctum Seeker. If we can bring the cost down, so much the better. So we have space for 1 more card. I'm going to emphasize And we're more aggressive, so that's why I'm not considering adding cards like Settle the Wreckage. Let's see what we want to stick with the Vampire team. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at our Vampires again. We're keeping Maverick Fane. Arvad, no, we don't have enough legendary creatures. Oh, but we do. Oh yeah, that reminds me. We do want a Legion's Landing, at least one. Okay, let's take a look at some other options we have. Arterial Flow is a bit weak. Bishop of Rebirth can buy some. Now that we've shifted to cheaper cards, it could buy some cards back, but this is again another 5-drop. I'm not looking forward to this. Not the Bishop, Bloodstain. Deathless Ancient. We're not making that many vampires, and it just comes back to hand. Elenda the Dusk Rose. It seems takes up a lot of setup. I wish this had flash. So not so much we could do about this one. So Grim Captain's Calls a no. Glorifier of Dusk. No, I don't want a glorified Sarah Angel. Besides, we already have Sarah Angel. So looking, yeah, we definitely want to add Legion's Landing here. So that there's also Profane Procession we could add as a long-term removal, but it's for this deck it feels more like a sideboard card. Yes, sure, it gives us removal in the long term, but it does nothing on its own. If we have sideboards, I would definitely consider putting one of these. Let's take a look at the deck right now, see how it... Let's analyze it right now, see what it's up to. So as you see, yep, we have a slew of 1-drops. We have a ton of 2-drops now, so we have plenty of play. Definitely shifting the Isolated Chapel's work. And basically our game plan is now focused on 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't have a glut of 5-drops that would stick us, on it. One thing to note is that there is another direction we can take this deck. If you notice that we had Queen's Commission, we have Call to the Feast as token makers. Another option we have is to make the deck just a pure white-black token, or even just pure mono-white tokens. Actually, that is one deck we could explore, but since we're just tweaking the... But since what we're doing is we're just tweaking the Legion of Dusk deck, we'll leave this as is. And this one is, I would say, is much cheaper than I thought it would be. We have plenty of options we can go through here. So, yep, this is basically how I would run this. Now, I do note that there are a bunch of powerful options that I missed out on. Like in the previous video on the Azorius Ascension, I missed out on Lyra Dawnbringer. If you definitely can if I could put the Teferi in, I might as well put Lyra in as well. In fact, Lyra might be better than Teferi. But I guess part of the work I do here is not to do everything. I can work out a few ideas on how to improve it. Then what we could do is we can, how do you say this? Yeah, leave some for exploration as well. And yes, now that I mention it, we should fix our mana. We have way more white now than black. We don't need that many swamps. In fact, let's go back to that. So probably drop swamps. I'd probably drop it to 7. Then the plains, I would bring it up to at least 11 or 12. There's one more. Yeah, let's leave it at 11, and let's add another Arc of Araska. we can easily substitute the Ark with a better utility land. Field of Ruins a good choice. There is the new land in Dominaria. There's the land in Dominaria that gives you tokens. That's one way around it, even though those are not vampires. Or alternatively, we can stick to the desert team. We can replace some of these basics with deserts, and what we could do with that is we can actually, let's explore the desert plan here. Since this was quite straightforward, let's see if we were to substitute some of the cards with deserts. Definitely 4 copies of Desert of Glory. Actually, no, not 4 copies. Let's not just bump it up to 4 automatically. Okay, let's say we drop 3 of 3 plains, 2 swamps. Let's say we add desert. Let's say we add 2 deserts of the true and 1 desert of the glorified. Now, I was saying the Shafet Dooms was probably not a great idea, but let's take a look at what our alternative is. Alternative is basically if near Deadlands. It acts as a removal at sorcery speed. We do have a bunch of removal. The Shafet Dunes might actually be one of the better ideas after all. So yeah, I guess it's coming back in. So probably -1 plains, add the Shafet Dunes, add 1 swamp. Let's see how our mana base is now. And I apologize if you're seeing a bunch of pop-ups. Yep. Mana source distribution is much better now. 16 to 30. No, that's our mana distribution. Yeah. Basically, we want our mana distribution and our mana source distribution to more or less come hand in hand. It's also helpful that we are now in a standard where we have decent dual lands. So yeah, I guess this is the final deck. And adding deserts is not that more expensive. It's actually a good idea. So that's it for this episode. I'm gonna save this deck up. If you want to check it out, you go to deckstats.net. I'll be looking over another deck this time. Hopefully we do much better than 1 tree, much better than a pity win and 3 losses. Anyway, so thank you very much. Hope you like and subscribe to this channel, and hope to see you guys again next time.